April is Financial Literacy Month, and if you can't tell, that's something that's very important to me. Not only do I help my clients one-on-one very specifically, but I generate free content in the forms of this video that you're watching, infographics, different images and definitions, as well as strategy guides that I post just throughout the whole year. So I definitely want to spread financial confidence. I feel is what comes with being financially literate and building up your knowledge around financial topics that may be applicable to your situation. So with that said, I'm going to dive into my first video for Financial Literacy Month, and this one's going to be focusing on cash flow. I'm not going to go into all the basics because I don't want this to be a 10-15 minute webinar. I want it to be a relatively quick video, but I did create an infographic that you can feed through whatever video you're seeing this on. You can go through my feed and find that infographic. For this particular topic, though, I want to focus on the two things that really are overlooked. So pay yourself first, very important. You do an awesome job, I imagine, at spending every single cent of your paycheck. It's almost like you're a ninja at spending your money perfectly to where right as you're running out of money, you get that new cash inflow from your paycheck. So with that said, you've probably been doing that all along. So throughout your working career, whether you're making less or more, you've always found a way to make sure that at the end of the month, you're right up against it, and then you get that next paycheck. So with that said, it's very easy to then start saving a little bit and have that go to an emergency savings if you haven't established one yet. And that's the best place to start when you start thinking about savings and you haven't been doing so in the past. This is going to be great because it's going to allow you to absorb any emergency expenses that come up, some unexpected costs, as well as just have some confidence that you're actually making progress and it's not you're starting over every single month, which is what the feeling is if you are living paycheck to paycheck. If you do that, if you start saving a little bit every single month, you're going to notice that it's actually not as bad as you think, and it's because you're really good at spending what you do have available on your checking account. Which is also why you want to pay yourself first. You don't wait till the end of the month, because if that happens, there's never going to be savings there. The other second portion, so I mentioned emergency savings. That is kind of an unknown expense as far as when that's going to occur. Hopefully, it's not happening monthly. So the cost is unknown. When it's going to happen, relatively unknown. But then there's other expenses too that occur just maybe annually or twice a year. It could be vehicle maintenance, getting oil changes. Your insurance sometimes can be processed on a 6-month or an annual basis rather than a monthly basis. So if those things are occurring, you want to make sure that you target them and identify what those known expenses are, because they're relatively known if they happen every 6 months or every year. It's just, it doesn't happen every month. So it's out of your thought process. And then if you're not planning for them, what happens is you get there and you're like, oh man, I need to go to credit cards, I need to borrow money, I need to ask for help, or I need to hit up my emergency savings, even though it's not an emergency, because we're talking about known expenses that pretty typical to occur within a year's time frame at least. So when you are aware of those and are knowing of those, what you need to do is figure out how many months are remaining between now and that next payment due date, and start to save monthly into a special account. So a special account, so it's out of your mind, out of your visibility, so you don't think it's spending money, because like we said, you're going to spend it if you see it in your checking account as available. So make sure you're doing those things. That's going to be two significant ways that you can start to make progress. We're a quarter of the way through the year, but let's try to make this last 3 quarters of the year something that you could be proud of when you think about your financial situation and start to build that confidence. So hopefully that's helpful. I think that next video I'm going to try to target how to build credit and some of the variations of credit scores and how those are impacted. So feel free to share and like and do all those things and make sure other people in your circle are aware of these tips as well.